When a soldier went down in World War II, time became his worst enemy. Bullets could miss. Shrapnel could wound. But blood loss, that was almost always fatal. There were no fast ambulances, no trauma teams rushing in. Just a handful of men, under fire, trying to stop the life from pouring out of a friend. And what they used to save those lives wasn't high-tech. It was a handful of powder, something almost every Allied soldier carried, but few truly understood. This is the forgotten battlefield trick that saved thousands. On the front lines of Europe and the Pacific, bleeding was one of the leading killers. Even small wounds could turn deadly before help arrived. Field medics were heroes, but they were few, and the fighting never waited for them. That meant ordinary soldiers had to become medics themselves. In the chaos of gunfire and smoke, survival depended on acting fast. Not perfectly, just fast enough to keep someone alive. The first rule was simple: stop the bleeding. Everything else could wait. Armies learned this lesson the hard way. By the middle of the war, soldiers were trained to handle life-threatening wounds in the field. They learned to apply pressure, elevate limbs, and if necessary, use a tourniquet. But tourniquets had a dark side. They could save a life in minutes or cost a limb in hours. So troops needed something safer, something they could use immediately, even without medical gear. That's where sulfanilamide powder came in. Inside every soldier's kit was a small tin, often dusty, dented, and forgotten, marked sulfanilamide. To most, it just looked like white powder. But in reality, it was one of the earliest antibiotics ever made. When poured directly into a wound, it helped slow bleeding and prevented deadly infections. A miracle in a world before penicillin reached the front. Here's how it worked. A comrade would tear open the tin, pour the powder straight into the wound, then seal it with a field dressing. A tightly wrapped pad of sterile gauze. It stung, it burned, and it wasn't pretty. But it worked. In less than a minute, that simple act could turn a fatal injury into a survivable one. The process was brutal but effective. Apply powder. Apply pressure. Tie the dressing tight enough to stop bleeding. And, if needed, reinforce it with a belt, strap, or torn uniform sleeve. Soldiers learned that pressure meant life. Too loose, and you bled out. Too tight, and you lost the limb. That careful balance became the difference between living to see another sunrise or fading out in the dirt. But not every man had his sulfur tin. Sometimes they were lost in the mud, destroyed by shrapnel, or simply used up. So soldiers got creative. They pressed snow against wounds in frozen forests, hoping to slow the bleeding. They ripped shirts into makeshift bandages. They learned quickly that leaves and soil were death sentences, filled with infection. In those moments, survival wasn't about the perfect method. It was about acting immediately, stopping the blood flow by any means possible. Even when the bleeding stopped, another killer waited. Infection. Tatu. Battlefields were filthy. Mud, sweat, gunpowder, and blood mixed into every cut. Without antibiotics, soldiers could die days later from simple wounds. That's why sulfanilamide was revolutionary. It wasn't just a coagulant. It was protection against infection when hospitals were hundreds of miles away. For many, it was the difference between losing a limb and losing their life. Sulfanilamide belonged to the first generation of sulfa drugs. They worked by stopping bacteria from reproducing, giving the body's immune system a fighting chance. When combined with a tight dressing and pressure, it became a two-part miracle. Stop the bleeding. Stop the infection. That was all it took to keep a wounded man alive until a medic arrived. And it could all be done with one hand, one tin, and 1 minute of courage. Today, militaries use advanced powders like QuikClot and Celox, modern descendants of that same idea. But the principle hasn't changed. Clot the wound. Prevent infection. Maintain pressure. If you're hiking, camping, or far from medical help, these lessons still matter. A small clotting agent, sterile dressing, and quick hands can mean everything when time runs out. Here's the formula soldiers lived by. Step 1. Act immediately. Don't hesitate. Step 2. Apply the powder or clotting agent straight into the wound. Step 3. Cover with dressing and apply firm, continuous pressure. If the bleeding doesn't stop, never remove the first layer. Add another on top. That first layer holds the clotting material in place. Pull it off, and you start the bleeding all over again. It's a detail learned in blood, literally, and it saved lives for nearly a century. WWII medicine wasn't perfect. It was rough, raw, and born of desperation. But it worked because soldiers didn't wait. They didn't panic. They acted. Sulfur powder and pressure weren't just medical tools, they were symbols of resourcefulness, of refusing to give up even when the odds looked hopeless. Thousands of soldiers came home because someone beside them knew what to do. So the next time you see an old WWII first aid tin, know that it carried more than medicine. It carried the wisdom that survival favors the prepared and the fast. Even with all our technology today, the principle hasn't changed. When it comes to bleeding, seconds matter. Whether you're on a battlefield, a mountain trail, or at a highway accident, act immediately, apply pressure, and never give up. That's a lesson born in war and still saving lives in peace. If you value these forgotten lessons from history, the ones that mix survival, courage, and real human grit, then keep exploring with us. Subscribe for more stories where history teaches survival, one life-saving trick at a time. Because sometimes the old ways still work best. Thanks for watching.